Hi, my name's Sophia Jenny, and I'm an artist who specialises in cyanotype. And I thought I would put together a little video about me and my story and how I got to become an artist. So I grew up in New Zealand, and my early years were spent on a dairy farm with my mum and dad. When I was about 3 years old, my parents split up. Mum and I moved to Auckland. Dad stayed out on the farm, so I went between the two places and had lots of different experiences in my childhood. Even from an early age, art was part of my life and was encouraged. Creativity sort of runs in the family. My dad was a jeweller and printmaker. My uncles worked in printmaking, sculpture and event design, and both my grandfathers were artists in their own way. So making things with my hands naturally came to me. And when I was old enough to get my hands on the family film camera, I captured everything. Then, by the time I was 8 or 9, I had taken over the family Handycam and was just filming everything. So one Christmas, Dad got me a tripod, and that was it. I would spend hours with my friends setting up all sorts of different camera angles and scenes.
We're here at a crime site today where we found a dead body of a murderer.
And I loved it. As I got older, my love for photography and filmmaking continued, and my main subjects in high school were photography and media studies. I used to spend so much time in the darkroom. And around that time, my dad passed away, and then I found myself spending even more and more time getting into my art. And at the end of high school, I finished first in photography and second in media studies. Back then, being an artist wasn't a real job, so I decided to go for something more stable instead, and I went to film school doing a Bachelor of Performing and Screen Arts, majoring in cinematography. Film school was great, and I had heaps of fun doing that. But afterwards, cracking into the film industry was tough. I did all the things, worked on lots of sets and did lots of assisting and whatnot, but it just wasn't working out. Anyway, I kept my photography going and ended up landing a job in the events industry, which was awesome. I did photography, camera work, admin, labouring, and all sorts. Even had a go at VJing festivals, which was heaps of fun. That whole time was pretty awesome. Got to travel and be around so many incredible people, and I just loved the variety. Then, at the end of 2017, everything changed, and I fell seriously ill with chronic pancreatitis. For 3 years, I was in and out of hospital, and it was the most challenging time of my life. Life as I knew it had fallen apart, and I had to completely rethink who I was. When you're stripped of what used to define you, you get the rare chance to start again. And when I asked myself, what do I want to be next? With time, the answer became clear. I wanted to be an artist. At first, I started making liner cuts again in my garage, just experimenting and trying to connect with that creative part of myself. But when I moved house, I lost the space for that kind of printmaking. That's when I stumbled across cyanotype. I never heard of it before, but something about it completely caught my eye. And then the world went into lockdown, so I took that time to master it. And honestly, I've never looked back. Committing to being a full-time artist was terrifying. I had never worked completely solo before. All my creative roles had been in teams, so stepping into this new space felt uncertain. But I had nothing to lose, and I was determined. When I finished my first series of cyanotypes, I felt like I was onto something. But approaching galleries was nerve-wracking. I had to push through that fear and put myself out there. And to my surprise, it worked. Around that same time, I started selling my work at outdoor markets. First market was a really big step for me. I did not know how people were going to respond. But fortunately, I got some really great feedback and I sold way more than I thought I was going to. It wasn't just about making something I loved. It was also about connecting with people through my work, seeing strangers drawn to my art and telling me how it made them feel. It gave me a sense of purpose that I hadn't felt in a really long time. My work is deeply personal. It's about meditation, presence, transformation. Healing and self-growth have been huge themes in my life so far, and I try to bring those feelings into my work. I think of my art like visual meditations, something that gives people a sense of stillness and reflection in the middle of a busy world. And honestly, I think that's why Cyanotype speaks to me so much. The process itself is meditative, and there's something very symbolic about that. I still love doing markets and live events. They remind me why I do this. As an artist, I spend a lot of time in solitude, but getting to connect with people, hear their thoughts, and share my work with them is just such a joy. And it's not only about selling art. It's about creating moments of connection, and those moments mean everything to me. Now I'm at a really exciting point in my career. I'm creating large-scale A0 cyanotypes, something that I've wanted to do since the very beginning. There are only a few artists worldwide working at this scale, and it's incredible to be one of them. In fact, I'm the only artist in New Zealand making cyanotypes like this, which makes it feel even more special. It's been a challenge. Working this big requires new techniques, new materials, and a whole new way of thinking about composition. But it's also been one of the most rewarding parts of my journey. Looking ahead, I just want to keep growing, pushing my work further, reaching new audiences, and seeing where the path takes me. I do not have everything figured out yet, but that's part of the magic of being an artist. You follow where the work leads you. And if I've learned anything, it's that the process itself is as important as the final outcome. So, if you've ever dreamed of making art your life, my advice is to just start. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take that first step. Trust yourself, experiment, create some work, put it out there, because you actually never know who it's going to resonate with. Thank you for making it to the end of my video. And if you want to check out any of my cyanotypes and work, please head over to my website or onto my other social media accounts. And I would love to hear from you, so feel free to connect. Anyway, thank you so much.